And there's no question that summer is the favorite time of year for many children and adolescents. The school year is wrapping up, vacations and camps will be starting, and longer days mean more time to get out and enjoy the warm weather. But it's also the time of year when it's important to have conversations about the realities of stranger danger. Here to tell us more is Corporal Guillaume Tremblay, a public information officer with the Nova Scotia RCMP. Good morning, Guy.
Good morning, Crystal.
So we've heard several reports in the news recently about adults approaching children in a concerning fashion to the point where they've made police reports. Is this common to have an uptick of these types of reports this time of year?
What I can tell you, Crystal, is that we get reports on a somewhat regular basis for suspicious incidents, whether it's a suspicious person, a suspicious vehicle in the neighborhood. And it's important to remember that you want to report all incidents that you believe are suspicious. It's not always someone that looks scary that's out there that you want to report. It's the people that may look, and strangers are simply someone that you don't know very well.
Okay, perfect. So you're saying that people, if you notice anything that's just a little bit off, that your spidey sense is going off, you should contact police. How do you do that? How do you contact police with something like that? Because it's not it may be a 911 situation, but what if people say, like, I'm not sure?
That's a great question. So if you believe someone's in danger, absolutely every time it's 911 that you dial. If you see a suspicious vehicle, with the summer changes and kids going to summer camp and the school year ending, and you know the vehicle's in your neighborhood and that vehicle's usually not parked there, it's kind of out of the ordinary. You might want to call the HRM non-emergency line, which is 902-490-5020. Or your local RCMP detachment wherever you reside in Nova Scotia.
Okay, so the non-emergency line would be those types of calls. That's good to know and why is it so important that people do report every incidence of this type of concerning behavior?
As a police officer, I'd much rather go to a suspicious person that's, unfounded rather than show up when someone has taken a child. It certainly is very concerning behavior. We've had recent incidents where individuals were taking photos of children at playgrounds. Initially you may think that there's nothing criminal in nature, but it could be someone that's trying to hide their identity that could be breaching their conditions. So it's important to follow up on all incidents, identify those individuals, and know what their intent is at the end of the day.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about the incidents of stranger danger. Obviously, the reality is that it's out there. How should parents talk to the kids about keeping them safe, like young children?
So that's right. So with young children, you want to maybe talk about some scenarios out there. If you're on your way to a birthday party, for example, and you plan on leaving the child at the birthday party where you know some of the adults and you know that they should be safe in that space, maybe talk to them and say, Daddy's going to come pick you up today. It's only going to be Mommy or Daddy coming to pick you up. Don't go with anyone else. Do not leave the area. Maybe stay with a friend at the party. Stay with your friend, your best friend all the time. It's best to have a buddy system. And, and establish boundaries. So make sure that your child knows that it's okay to walk away and report something to an adult immediately.
Okay, great. And let's move up a little bit to older children. A lot of times, especially in the summertime, adolescents are left at home by themselves while the parents are at work. Any advice for families about managing that situation as safely as possible?
That's a great point. So once they get a little bit older, a lot of times they'll have some kind of communication device, right? So if you're going to work, maybe check in with those young preteens or teens that are left home alone. Whether it's a text message or an application on one of your devices. Maybe you have some smart devices at your home, like a doorbell camera. Maybe you're expecting a delivery, right? So you want to make sure that your kids are aware that there's going to be a delivery coming, the service that it's coming from, and maybe not to answer the door depending on their age, right?
Interesting. Those are great points. Okay, finally, we have some visuals of playground activity. I think that it's important to remind parents that they need to be vigilant even when they're with their kids.
Absolutely, yes.
So
if you are with your child at the playground, it's important. I know a lot of us, we're busy, we're on the go, you're reading emails on your phone, and you're reading the news. Keep an eye on your children. Look who's around. See if anyone is there without children, perhaps. Maybe report that suspicious activity.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this information today. We really appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you, Crystal.
And we put all that information on our website. For example, the non-emergency line in Halifax area. But of course, you can call the non-emergency line in your community as well if you have anything to report.